ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the CD Racoola Show. You're so lucky to have tuned into this first ever episode of the show. I, of course, am your humble host, CD Racoola. A little bit about me before we really sink our teeth into this episode. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way, shall we? I am a vampire. Yes, I drink blood, and yes, I'd explode into a disgusting ball of flame if I'm exposed to the sunlight. But I also enjoy long walks on the beach and the occasional Bloody Mary. But no one ever cares to ask me about any of that, but whatever. So yes, I am a vampire, and I'm obviously a little bit older, though I've kept my boyish good looks, and am what many of you would consider a pretty boy. I still have that pretty boy swag, if you will. So when I'm not out chopping off heads and draining people dry, I enjoy all things horror. Be it novels, film, and of course video games. I can't believe I'm even talking about video games. Back in my day, we didn't have video games. And when we wanted entertainment, we went out and threw rocks at each other. Now that was a good bit of fun. I also dabble a bit with writing myself and have a couple of books that I've written over the last 100 years or so, and I may even have the opportunity to share some of my own writing with you human peasants in the future. But moving on with my recent discovery of what you call the internet machine, I decided to create my own channel here to review horror and throw my own blood-soaked hat into the world of YouTube. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and dig into the raw meat of this very first episode of the CD Racoola Show. Today, we will be reviewing Netflix hit movie, Army of the Dead. Zombies, zombies, and more zombies. That's all the horror genre seems to produce nowadays, with hundreds of new zombie horror films coming out every year. You know why, though, don't you? It's because zombies are scary, and it always seems like a zombie apocalypse is something that could be possible and would be seemingly inescapable. That being said, though, we've been getting hit with a zombie overload as of late. This movie has more than a few surprises that make it stand out from the maggot-riddled, bloodthirsty pack of zombie films out there. The film Army of the Dead, put out by Netflix, is directed by Zack Snyder, also known for his work on the films Dawn of the Dead, 300, Watchmen, Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Justice League, and of course, Sucker Punch. He is no stranger to big-time movies, and I absolutely adored his take on the Dawn of the Dead film in 2004. The film he had such great success with and had so much fun filming that he decided that he would take up the mantle of filming his second zombie film in Army of the Dead. Let's put Mr. Snyder aside for a second and focus on the film's leading man, Dave Bautista. This former pro wrestler and Guardians of the Galaxy star not only looks the part of an action hero, but I feel like he actually has some acting chops. He's not your typical meathead. Bautista also said he would like to play Bane in future projects. I think he would make an excellent choice for Bane. I think as we go along here, we're going to see more big-time pro wrestlers dip their toe into the world of horror film. You can't really talk about pro wrestlers turned actors without talking about The Rock. The Rock, if I'm not mistaken, was a baddie in the 2005 film, Doom. The Rock was also in the movie Rampage, but I wouldn't consider that a true horror film. Maybe you would. And he was also the hero of that film, and not the villain. Can you imagine a villain like The Rock or Dave Bautista coming after you? It would be horrifying, don't you think? Feel free to comment down below on which big-time action hero you think would make a great horror villain. Maybe you think Sly Stallone would be a good villain, or maybe you'd like to see Jason Momoa as a serial killer. Oh boy, that would be fun. As we go along, you guys are getting to know me, but one thing you will learn about old CD is that I love the villains and the monsters. Call me biased all you want, but I really like it when the baddies win at the end of the film. I'm not a big fan of the film wrapping up in a neat little happy ever after fashion. You'll hear me say that a bunch. Where's the fun in that? The film Army of the Dead definitely does not end happily, and for that we can all be very thankful. The film is set in Las Vegas, Sin City, baby! One of old CD's favorite haunts. The city of Las Vegas has been walled off completely from the rest of the world, creating a little zombie habitat while the government decides what to do in this situation. The film is a heist movie at its core, so of course, here's the typical heist movie. A special team is assembled to infiltrate the city and steal the money from the casino safe. But not all the players on the team are working towards the same goal. But I won't spoil that for you. We have heard that heist movie song and dance before, that's for sure. Thank God this movie featured zombies, because old CD couldn't handle another god-awful Ocean's 12 or 13 or 500 or whatever it is. Those films are so boring they make me want to cry. So basically, this heist team gets into a whole heap of trouble with the zombies, as you can imagine, and it ends up a bloody good time, if you ask me. The real kicker and the big difference maker in this film, as compared to the other zombie media out there, and there's a lot, is the existence of the alpha zombies. Not only they have some real intelligence, but emotion, and even the ability to reproduce on their own. I haven't seen that much in the zombie realm, that's for sure. You know who the real star of this movie is to me, though? And maybe you'll disagree, but it's the city of Las Vegas. There's so much to see and so many famous landmarks in Las Vegas that to me just stole the show and made the film a pretty fun ride. The setting in a horror film is, I can't stress this enough, so important, and it's often overlooked in lieu of the story. One of my favorite films, and one where I think the setting itself stole the show in this film, is 30 Days of Night, which was set in, guess where? Alaska. I'm not going to delve into that film right now. I just don't have the time. But if you haven't seen that movie yet, you certainly should. So let me ask you this. Just like the setting stole the show in Army of the Dead, what is another movie where the settings show the show, so to speak of? Where might be a good place to feature the next great horror film? Feel free to comment below if that question tickles your little fancy. One of the cool things about this movie is that you can actually watch on Netflix, rather, the making of the Army of the Dead. Sorry, I had a brain fart. That happens when you're my age. Where they go through how they generated the characters in the set of Las Vegas. Though the movie itself features tons of fun little technical computer-generated effects, it also had more than its share of masks and makeup, which, if you know CD, that's what I like to see, baby. I'm a little old school and like to keep it as real as possible. I keeps it real, you know. The Alpha Zombies horse, for instance, was a real live horse, and don't worry, The horse wasn't harmed in the making of the film, we were assured. Though the white tiger was obviously computer generated, I thought that was a nice little surprise and a good touch, because when you think of Las Vegas, what do you think of? You think of the white tigers, and it was an extremely naughty little zombie tiger at that. I would definitely recommend not only watching the film Army of the Dead, but also would recommend watching the making of the Army of the Dead. It's kind of interesting. But wait, hold on a second here. It looks like they will be making an Army of the Dead sequel. Oh, goody, what a neat time that will be! They're also making a spin-off, or they made a spin-off rather, Army of Thieves, focusing on the safecracker Dieter. So take a sneak peek at that when you get a chance. In closing here, though it feels like we've been overloaded with zombie TV, film, and novels, I, however, urge you to give Army of the Dead a real biting chance. It has enough twists and turns to satisfy even the most experienced zombie fan's palate. I would like to thank you for joining me on the first ever episode of the CD Racoola Show. How about that? And tune in to the next episode of the CD Show when I review the film The Forever Purge. Make sure to throw old CD a bloody bone here so I can keep this thing going. And be a dear and click the like, share, and subscribe button. It's just down below. You can see it. And until next time, I'll be waiting, and I'll be watching ever so patiently from the shadows for you. Bye-bye for now.